Eileen Dorsey. I'm an artist here at 78th Street. Hello, everyone on Facebook. Thanks for watching. So I have been here at 78th Street for 11 years now. Are you familiar with 78th Street Studios? I know this is my...
I've only been here for 11 before.
Oh, okay. So it's an artist space. There's about 60 creative spaces in here. And we have 4 floors, and we have artists' art walks organized on every third Friday of the month. And like I said, I've been here for 11 years, so I've been doing art for a long time. My career started when I was a young artist, probably a lot like yourself. So there's a lot of artists here in the studio. So what school are you from?
We're from Willoughby School, Success Academy, NCI Willoughby.
A Success Academy from Willoughby. Okay, yeah. So when I was young, I was always into art classes, and I pursued that. I even had some really great art teachers help me get scholarships to go to private high school. And then from that, I received a scholarship to Kent State University, where I studied art and graduated with a Bachelor's of Fine Arts. And since then, I haven't stopped painting. I started showing work in coffee shops, in galleries, and restaurants, and pretty much anywhere I could show, because I just tried to make this work as an artist. And from that, I was able to get shows in galleries and universities, colleges, and now museums. So I have been successfully doing this for as a full-time job for 5 years now. So, which is great. I could do this, and I'm so very thankful. And pretty much it just has to do with a lot of hard work and you kind of pushing through it, because it's not really an easy career choice, but it's something I love doing, so I am here for it. So the story about getting my space at 78th Street is kind of funny, and if anyone knows about this, it's kind of hard to get a studio here. There's usually a waiting list, and it was, so like I said, I've been here for 11 years, and 11 years ago, we didn't have Third Friday art walks, and these art walks would get 2,000 people to come through the space. It's a big deal. Things have changed a little bit during COVID times, but so at the time, there were not Third Friday art walks, and we had, there was about maybe 6 tenants in the space, and I saw Hillary from Hedge Gallery. She had a gallery called Legation Gallery, and she was showing one of my college classmates. She had a show, and so that's how I heard about the building. And so I made sure to reach out to the owner, and I was like, hey, do you have any space available? And he actually said no, which I thought was really funny, because it was a huge warehouse. And I'm like, you have lots of space. I don't understand what's going on. And so he's like, I don't have any space, but I'm looking for 2 tenants to sign a lease, and then I'm going to start building studios. So I was like, all right, that's a lot of trust I'm putting into you. The space isn't built, and you're asking me to sign a 2-year lease. So, but I did. I blindly signed a lease to a space, and I chose a studio based off of blueprints. And at the time, I was just looking for a place to work, because I just moved, and I didn't have a studio space anymore, and as an artist, I need to make, and that's how I feel good as a person. And so I signed the lease, and a few months later, Third Friday Art Walk started, and then now here we go, and now we have Third Fridays. Questions at the end, please. Yeah, thanks. So I had no idea, but I had faith and trusting my intuitions, and I put forth the work, and I made it happen. I'm a lucky few, and I'm very appreciative of everyone. But so that's how I came to 78th Street, which is kind of a funny way. But what else? I don't know. What else was I going to talk about?
Talk about your murals.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah. Actually, I do a lot of public speaking, but I still am very nervous every time I do it. So my work. So I create very colorful landscape paintings. That's what I'm known for. Lots of, I use oil paints. I'm using a palette knife rather than a brush to to come in to make the paintings, and I've been doing that for some time now. The last few years, 2017, I created my first public mural. And murals are a little bit different. You're using like house paints and acrylics, and you're painting them on walls. That's what makes it a mural. And so I did my first public one, which was outside. It was in this neighborhood on the corner on Detroit Avenue and 63rd Street on the Stockyard Meats building. And it was actually the first mural in the Gordon Square Arts District, and I was collaborating with a graffiti artist from Chicago. And since that job, I've created, or I've had the opportunity to do several more murals. I've done the murals in Flannery's Pub downtown East 4th Street, and just recently I've been hired as the barrio artist for the expansion in their Columbus location. So I created one in Grandview Heights in July, and I'll be there in June to create one downtown or on campus. So, and those jobs are very tense. And I say mural, I mean the whole restaurant, every wall. I'm talking 4.5 wall rooms, exterior 3 walls on the outside, and there's not an inch that isn't covered in paint. So yeah, it took me about a month to complete that job. So, and in this past October, I was hired to create the tallest mural I've ever done. It was 32 feet tall, and it was at the Redwood Apartments and Living in Independence, their corporate headquarters. And they actually asked me to paint life-size trees, which was very cool because I love painting trees, and it was a huge space. So it actually required a lot of different elements. I used a scissor lift, if you're familiar with that. I had to use scaffolding, and it takes a lot of maneuvering to complete a job like that. But so that's what I've been kind of doing for all this time. What else? Julie?
Do you have any questions for
Yeah.
Eileen? How long
Yes.
did that wall take?
Which one?
How long did that wall take?
This wall? So I actually started this as a small section. It was about 5 feet by 3 feet. And I painted it on the wall, I taped it off, and everyone thought it was a canvas because it was square. So I then extended it. So I don't know, it probably took me a week in total, but I didn't paint them at the same time. Yeah, there was like many months apart.
What inspired you to paint?
What inspires me to paint? So that's a good question. Like I said, I just like making. I've always been a creative person, and I'm always happiest just making something. When I was younger, I didn't know that I wanted to be a painter, but it wasn't until when I was at Kent, studying at Kent State University, and I was in my first painting 1 class when I realized, it just hit me. This is what I want to do. I seem to be good at it, which helps. And I just fell in love with it. And I just, figuring out a style and what I want to paint, that just kind of happens. You just continue making things until something feels right. I know that's not really an answer, but that's the only answer. It's true.
There never really is an answer with painting.
I'm sorry?
I feel like there never really is an answer with painting. You kind of just got to find it on your own.
Yeah, you do have to find it on your own. Yeah. So, so when I was younger, I used to paint mostly portraits, people painting, and because that's what I was kind of interested in at the time. I would paint a lot of my friends, parties I'd go to. I made all these funny little compositions, and then in 2010, I was doing a lot of traveling. I took a month off, and I traveled across the country, and I was taking a lot of pictures of the landscapes, and that's when I started painting landscape paintings, because I was pretty much just, documenting my trips and travels, and then I started painting these, and then I was like, I really like painting landscapes, and so I started painting a little bit more, and then over time, I started painting more trees, and that was a progression, and then I realized that's because I used to hike a lot in the woods near my home when I was a child, and it was always my place where I could go be by myself and hang out with friends. So it was kind of this really special place for me, and I still feel that way, so that's why I paint them now. So, yeah.
Do you draw out with pencil first, or do you freehand?
So I'll tell you about my process. So I work from photo references that I take on my phone, and then I have like an album that I go through whenever I'm starting a painting, and I figure out which one's striking me that day, which one, whether it's the layout of the photo or it's the lighting, and then I take those photos and then I create a sketch in my sketchbook. And then once I figure out the composition and where I think things are going to go, I sketch it right on the canvas. Okay. So I just take pencil to canvas, and then I start painting. Some artists do underpaintings, so they're like painting like a light, like version of it, I guess is the way to say.
Almost like sketching it with paint.
Yeah. And then they start, but I just go straight on the canvas. Hello, Aura. Yeah, thanks. Any questions? Yes.
How long ago did you do that one, actually?
The one right here? So this one is the newest. I actually, this is a commission painting, which means I was hired to paint this scene. So the couple, actually, it's a really nice story. They go to the same spot every year with their family, and they've been going there for years and years and years. And they wanted to capture that and have something in their home, but in the style that I make. And so we had a couple meetings, and we went through photographs, and I created this composition based off of a few different photographs. And the colors I chose are based off of what would match their decor in their house, what they liked from previous paintings I have done. And so that's kind of how that came about.
It's a really pretty painting.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you have any paintings that have like sentimental value to you? Like there's like memories behind it or like meaning behind it?
Oh yeah. I have lots of sentimental paintings. Lots of paintings that have some symbolism in it. Some of my newer paintings, they're stored away. They have people in them, are very personal. And there's a lot of symbolism to them. I recently just posted, I think, something on Instagram. It was the first painting that it was a painting one final project from my college course. And I won't sell that one because it means a lot to me. But that was pretty much the one I was like, all right, this is it. I'm going to continue painting. So yeah. I feel like there's more things I should say.
Did you talk about the other thing, your jewelry?
Oh, I did it. Thank you. I thank you for prompting your questions. Other things that are in my studio. Okay, so I make paintings and I also make jewelry, and I'm not wearing any right now, which is a shame. But I take the leftover paint scraps from the paintings and I encase it in resin, and I make rings, I make necklaces, bracelets, all sorts of things. I also offer a variety of different prints. I create mini original paintings on wood, and they're magnetic, so they could go on your fridge, or they sit nicely on the counter. I make pillows. I have that have my artwork on them. I have hats and t-shirts available on my online store. So my online store is EileenDorseyStudio.com. So you can see what I offer, some things for sale there. But also EileenDorsey.com. It pretty much has almost every painting I've ever done. But I've made a lot of paintings, so you could check that out. It's kind of like an archive of my work.
So it's kind of just like a little taste of what you do?
Taste, yeah. Just a taste, yeah. I don't have my earliest works in there. It pretty much starts from like 2008 now, but I mean, I started, I went to school in 2001, I started at Kent State. So, I mean, I was painting the whole time, so I have been, so.
So is landscape kind of like the main thing you do, or are there like other kind of paint styles you do?
So I'm mainly known for these thick wooded scenes. I like putting a lot of color, and but as you can see, there's some people paintings around. So I dabble, and because I now am one of the artists for the Barrio restaurants. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but Barrio Tacos. Oh yes, that's right. So those are figurative. So there's lots of people and skeletons and stuff in there. So that's definitely not landscape, but yeah, it's nice to get jobs like that because it's challenging, and I get to. Yeah. So yes. What else? I'm sure there's more things. Does anyone have any questions on here? Hello, everyone that's watching. Oh, look at that. All right.
So you can follow Eileen on Facebook, like you have your What's on the Week with
Oh,
Easel Wednesday.
thank you. Yeah, you're so I'm on Facebook, Eileen Dorsey Studio, and on Wednesdays I have a video. I go live every Wednesday to show you what I'm working on. It's called What's on the Easel Wednesday, and so I change it pretty much every week. I have something new on the easel because I like to keep it fresh for my audience. So if you'd like to check that out, I'm also on Instagram at Eileen_Dorsey_studio. So
How often do you paint? Like,
how?
all the time? Or?
Yeah, so I paint all the time, but I'm not always painting while I'm in the studio. I would love to just paint, but there are things that I have to do to maintain a business, which essentially this is a business. I didn't realize that when I decided to be an artist that I would be a business owner. But so there's a lot of things that come with that take up some time. But this is my full-time job, so I consider it as so, and I put in hours like anyone else, probably more hours, because I'm not really like clocked in, clocked out. I'm just always clocked in. So, yeah.
I mean, if this was my job, that's all I would ever do.
Yeah.
I would just sit there and paint all day.
Yeah, I enjoy it. So, any more questions?
I love the detail in the paintings.
Thank you.
You just feel like your action there.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Is that how much time? I don't know what time it is. I can't see on my phone.
12:23.
Oh, it's close enough. Yeah. Hey, Deirdre? Hi.
We just said we'll come in and ask you a few questions after.
Oh, okay, that's cool. All right. Anyone? Last minute questions? I'm going to give you 1 minute. What is it like? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so what is it like transforming your working space into a presentation space each month? Okay, so that is a good point. So yeah, as you can see, I work here, and I also show here. So when I first started the studio, I told you I was just looking for a place to work, and I had no intentions of it being a gallery space. It just kind of morphed into that. So each month it is kind of a task to get everything put away, but everything's movable. So everything in here I can move around. These are all on wheels. All these tables fold up, and then I have this storage space in the back that I could hide things. But it is really nice. I like keeping some of the things out, like recently, so people can see what it looks like to be in a workspace. It's definitely not something I'm used to. I kind of wish I could keep it a little messier, but yeah, I don't know.
Are there any times you've like really struggled with painting, like, or you just couldn't do it at times?
That's a good question. So times that I've struggled with paintings, like painter's block.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that happens often. Not like painter's block where I can't think of anything, or, it's weeks at times. Sometimes it's just, there's days that I just don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
But you basically just have to push through. It's like practicing, you can't, sometimes you just can't run a marathon before you do a little stretching, So when that happens, I just start working. I might not be working as fast as I would like to work, but I just start working. I'll start painting.
Just try to get something done.
Try to get something done. Sometimes it could take a few hours to get into like a groove. But when it happens, it's such a fun and exciting moment. It's like adrenaline, and it's like time kind of like fades away when you're that focused on something. So taking that time and all those hours to get to that point is really worth it to me. So, yeah, anyone else? Okay. Okay, hold on. I have another question. You mentioned you didn't realize you would be starting a business when you became an artist. What other expected things would you tell a new artist to look out for or maybe become educated in? Okay, that's a good question. What would I give you as young artist advice? Yeah, marketing classes. Yeah, I would say you would need to market your work. I feel like the whole idea of you getting discovered is something that I was least brought up with, but it's unlikely to happen. You kind of have to make it work for yourself. So learn social media is definitely a tool. Build an audience, get information. Any kind of business classes would be helpful. Presentation means a lot. I know for me personally, after it takes so long to make something, like the idea of making the sides nice and clean or making the wall patched up and nice seems like really like a bummer, but it makes a difference. But please don't look at the holes that are in my wall after I say but it's like, presentation means a lot. What are things? Website, yeah, a website's important. Have a website, any social media. Keep up to date with things. Yes?
What do you think your favorite art piece in here is?
My favorite art piece in here currently?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I might be gravitating towards this one that's under my name. Just because it's a little newer. I think the colors are fun, and I was starting to do a little bit more details with the leaves.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah. So maybe right now. But I have some favorites over time,
Yeah.
There's a painting called Broad Spectrum that I did, which is a multi-panel painting a few years ago that kind of opened my eyes to using color in a different way. So that's a favorite one. But I don't have that one. I sold that one. But yeah. What other things, advice? Applying to juried shows is helpful. Create a community of artists. Being connected to other artists is very helpful for you succeeding. It seems like it'd be counterproductive because maybe it's competitive, but it really isn't much. So building a network is really important amongst yourselves.
I feel like in art it's kind of hard to be competitive because everyone paints in different ways or draws in different ways.
That's true, yeah. It can't, there's so many ways you can collaborate. Yeah. I think that's it. Anything else? No?
Thank you, Eileen.
You're good?
Thanks.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys coming. It's super fantastic. All right, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Finish. Hold on.